Welcome back, cousins. Welcome back. I told you. Come on back. I got something good today for you. This is going to be part 4 growing up in the 60s. Jim Crow is alive and he never died. And my mom said that the KKK went from wearing the cap to wearing a bow tie. But again, I am Betty J. Gathers, daughter of Jean Gray. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, cousins. Now, the ones of you that have not subscribed, why not? Why have you not subscribed? But please subscribe, share, and like. I got it. Subscribe, share, and like. That was so hard for me at first, y'all. Remember who done been here since the beginning with me? How hard that was for me. But I'm coming back with part 4, me growing up in the 60s. Okay. We ended with me in junior high, because that's from 6 to 8. We were still segregated at that time. Junior high is now called middle school, is what it is. Okay. But anyway, from 9th to 12th is high school. Another thing I want to talk about, because I went to Lincoln Elementary, Lincoln Junior High, JFK High. My mom went to Roosevelt High. You see what all these names entail? It's where Negroes, I feel, now I don't know, they chose names that they thought that was on the side of the Negroes. Go figure, because when I got integrated, I went to Suncoast High. So, and they had another name for theirs, but I don't know what it was. I know whoever was white would remember, but I have no, they turned it, but anyway, we'll get to that. All that. Okay. So from 8th to 10th grade, I was still in an all segregated school. One of my teachers, I talked about Miss Ruhala, which is white. I talked about her being one of my best teachers. Miss Isaac, a Negro teacher, probably 7th or 8th grade. She was an excellent teacher. I always remembered her. She was also an English teacher. And I'm telling you, our teachers were really superb. And I still say because of the parents helping and kids knew. They bet not be acting up in school, because I know one time I acted up in high school. I begged that teacher not to call my mama. Please, you can beat me. You can hit me. You can do whatever you want. I never got in trouble again, and she never called my mama. Praise God. I tell you, and people always too thought that we got spanked in school all the time, which is not true. I remember getting paddle in my hand in kindergarten, and then probably 3rd or 4th grade, and God only knows I know me. I'm sure I did something, and that was just it. That was it. Nobody ever that I know of that I can remember, not at the schools I went to. I don't know what schools you went to, but anyway, we are in John F. Kennedy High. Everything. Oh, and that was the first time I ever got bused. But really, John F. Kennedy was less than 2 miles away. So I guess it didn't count back in them days, but they was, I don't know, because you went to high school and they went and picked you up and it was special, but that was the first time in my life I ever got on a school bus and went to school. Okay. And we all still Negroes on that bus going into high school, which is also excellent. Teachers and is what I can remember. Of course, you have your good days and you have your bad days, just like, any other schooling, because I could think of some bad stuff that I did, but we're not telling, because my baby sister tell. But Then the government said that if they did not integrate that next year, that they were going to take away all their funding. I was in the state of Florida. I know the state I stay in now, I think it was 68 that they did it here. But in Riviera Beach, it had to be 70 is when it was done. Yep, I think that's when it was. It was in 70 for sure, but that's the reason why they did it. Also, I want you to know too, because in segregation time, we couldn't go to each other churches either. If you was white and black, you couldn't sit. You couldn't sit. You'd be thrown out of there. So we couldn't integrate. So that when they bought that around in 70, then we could also integrate in churches and really everywhere. Did people, some people not gonna like it. Some people gonna still want the old ways, and they gonna fight to keep them old ways. And I think honestly, if I was privileged, I would probably want to fight to keep mine too, to be honest. It's not right, but people claw to stay on that top is what it is. Okay, we gonna talk about this integration thing now. Okay, just think. Never really been around white people. Never. Done lived in this little cocoon with all these Negroes. Okay? So they decided to send us children into the lion's den. And I mean the lion's den. And their mouths wasn't sealed up. They was ready to eat us up. Okay. We went in. It was rough. I don't even want to take that away from anything. It was awful. Some days, even my little brother, and I didn't know he remembered, I would call my mom home crying and saying, Mom, you got to come get me. You got to come get me. There was a girl named Marbella Shelton. I haven't seen Marbella since my high school days, and I've been out of school since 73. She looked at white, but she was black. And it's amazing. A lot of kids back there had a lot of white features in them. So they could pass. So what she did, she used to straighten her hair. So it was fighting so bad, she went in the bathroom and literally washed her hair so her hair could look like an afro. Okay? And the problem was they expected to be able to beat the kids up like they used to when everything was fine. But then the kids fought back, and they were not expecting that, so they were expecting little meek people, and they didn't get it. And I want you to realize too, before we got integrated, we almost had 100% graduation rate. 1 or 2 people didn't graduate. And I'm going to tell you, if you stayed back a grade, you were too ashamed to tell anybody, okay? Because you get picked at. So just think, before we got integrated, Negroes graduated and went off to college. Even if a girl had a baby, her mom would step back, keep that baby, a grandmama or somebody, and she was going to college. Okay? Then we got integrated. And they said the reason, I heard one teacher, Negro teacher, said that because we was getting old books and whatever, that we needed to get integrated. We didn't know we had old books. What we care? We was learning. So we went into the lion's den. And it was awful. The teachers, Mr. Fox. I know Mr. Fox probably did, but he was one mean. He didn't stay the whole year because the boys, they fought so much that they threw a lot of the boys out of school. So see, that's when you could say it basically started. the Negro boys, and I remember one, Mr. Tenson, something his name was. He was trying to break them from beating up a teacher. He ended up getting his jaw broke. So you can remember all that stuff. And can you remember as a kid, and then they throw you to all these white people? And you know what? In a kid's mind, and I put this on a little bit, and let me tell you, I've never really thought about this until they started that classmate.com. We didn't have no black teachers, Negro teachers. Where did they go? Can somebody tell me that was in Riviera Beach? Where did they go? We didn't have none of them. We had one counselor, and where did they go? What happened to them? So can you imagine staying in this bubble with nothing but Negroes, and all of a sudden you turn me into these white people that's prejudiced and don't want me there? How that happen? How does that happen? My mom should have had enough money to send me to a private school. That's what she should have did. But anyway, she didn't have that kind of money. But it was really volatile. We had parents on the outside. If you see them now and you look at how they're screaming on the street, that's just how it look. They look like dogs ready to eat up somebody's child. These are grown people hollering at children because their skin color is different. What are they doing that at? In America. That's where they were doing it at. That's what they were doing. So I can imagine what stuff they did underhandedly that we don't know about to make kids fail and drop out of school. It was just crazy. Then they said that with the integration, it still kept us separate. It kept, I'm going to say the kids weren't nasty to us, but you knew what the color of your skin was. Okay? That still kept you in your place. You weren't frightened because this generation, it was like, but we were thrown into the lion's den. That's exactly what I felt like they did. We were together but separate. We were, even when we went to lunch, white sat on one side, we sat on the other side. They would have apple fights. They had to stop serving fruits. Throwing apples at each other. Everybody running out the lunchroom and the gym, pat rally. See, in the Negro community, that was our stronghold. The church, then them parades, I always say, the church had the strong here. And when we had pep rallies. Our pep rallies when we were all Negroes were, you just, every Friday you wanted that pep rally. It just built you up for them games. Then we went over to the white school. They would sit on one side, we'll sit on the other side. There was no spirit in them, in that pep rally. They would try to start new songs. They would try to get everybody to sit together. They did that one time. Everybody ran across and they made it salt and pepper looking. Oh my God. I remember one interracial couple later on, probably about that next year. His name was Orion. They call him Oreo. But that was really the only one that I saw. Maybe others ones were doing it, but hiding underneath. But we still basically were good kids because we knew if they called our parents and we were being ugly, they would get us. Okay. So, but like I say, once they got rid of the teachers that were really causing the problems, and then after a while, the parents on the outside, they get tired of coming every day. Like we're not going to be able to change this. No, you're not going to be able to, because they in their pocketbooks. If they gave them that funding, and they would have continued being segregated, okay? By the time I got to 12th grade, we had a homecoming queen, a homecoming king. Oh, Orion, he was the homecoming king. He was the one that won from the interracial couple. He could almost look white. Mm. And then we had the homecoming queen. She was dark skinned. I can't say that. But we always, if they had a prom, it wasn't going to be integrated. Okay. Reunions, class reunions, I would never go to one. I think I even talked about that on the classmate.com, because I don't remember being happy in high school. I had one friend, which was my best friend. But once I got back to my neighborhood, they had to bus us back. I tell you, you better not make no noise on the bus. That's another big difference too. They could put everybody off the bus and make you walk home. We walked home so many days till I was tired of walking home. But it was not easy. 1970 to 1973, it changed me. I know people before me, it was awful. It was really awful. You really didn't have a say, and you really had to hide your emotions. I can only imagine the people before me and the people before them, my grandma, my great granddad, and all the ones that was in slavery, the backs of what we say we rolled on to get to where we are. It was, I said before, it was a simple time because of not the internet, but it was a hard time. Jim Crow was and still alive and kicking. If a news person came and asked me today, is there any difference from 73 to 2021? No. Jim Crow is alive. And when he dies, I'll never know. I will never know. And to my sister, I hope I did this justice, because she was so right. I really just whitewashed it before. And I got to redo the one about asking questions to your doctors. I'm really going to have to do that, because I whitewashed that too, because I really could have talked to really what happened to women bodies. I need to do a part 2 on that, and really, I'm new to this. I've only been doing this going on 2 weeks. And I put out 15 videos in 15 days. And now my schedule definitely is going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It was going to be that at all times, but I wanted to push those out because that could help me a little bit with the editing and be able to talk for a while and put my thoughts into sequence, and then it don't jump all over the place. I'm still working with that, and just learning not to glaze over stuff. And I guess we did that then. We glazed over it. And I think about all our people who had to lie to stay alive. Gives you something to think about. Gives you something to think about. Okay, well, now that y'all got that all out of me, so good. I am Betty J. Gathers. You're going to subscribe. And I mean subscribe, because I'm coming back with some good stuff. You're going to like, and you're going to share. And if you want me to come back from anything 1960, 70, 80, let me know. Let me know, and we can chit chat about it here But again, I am Betty J. Gathers. Welcome for coming back. You're going to like, you're going to subscribe, and you're going to share. See you later.